There is a moment in life when you realize that nothing outside of you can truly control the direction of your existence. Every excuse you have ever made, every reason you have blamed, every if only or but they did, is a chain holding you in the past, stopping you from stepping into the power of now. You must see clearly that no one else can carry the weight of your life. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, the world begins to shift. Responsibility is not punishment, it is freedom. When you accept that your choices, your actions, your thoughts, and your reactions are entirely yours, a door opens to true transformation. This is the first rule of change. Take full responsibility for your life. Do not think responsibility is a word, it is a force. It is the recognition that you are the architect of your destiny. Every feeling of helplessness, every frustration, every disappointment begins not outside, but inside. It is a reflection of your own surrender, your own delay, your own hesitation. When you wake up in the early hours, in the quiet of the night when the world sleeps, look at yourself honestly. Look at the life you are living and ask, am I truly acting, or am I waiting for someone else to act for me? Am I choosing, or am I hoping for luck to choose for me? Answers will come, not in grand moments, but in silence, in the stillness, in the midnight hours where your thoughts confront you. Responsibility demands courage. It asks you to face yourself without excuses, to stop hiding behind failures, to stop blaming the past, to stop pointing fingers at circumstances. Every great transformation in life starts here. When you stop looking outward for reasons, when you stop seeking permission from others to live your life, you step into the realm of power. Here, you understand that change begins in action, not in hope, waiting for the world to be fair, waiting for the timing to be perfect, waiting for someone else to decide your fate. These are illusions. They are traps that steal your energy and your potential. Responsibility is the antidote. When you embrace it fully, your life begins to expand. Every decision becomes meaningful. Every choice carries weight. You begin to act with purpose, not reaction. This is not easy. Nothing worth transforming is ever easy. It requires honesty that can be brutal, reflection that can be uncomfortable, and action that can be relentless. You will stumble, you will fail, but with responsibility, failure becomes a teacher, not a prison. You stop feeling like a victim and start feeling like a creator. You realize that the world is not against you, it is neutral. You are either moving with it or resisting it. And responsibility teaches you how to move. Taking responsibility also means owning your emotions. No one can make you angry, sad, or anxious without your consent. The power lies in how you respond. The moment you take responsibility for your inner world, fear loses its grip, doubt loses its voice, and limitation dissolves. You stop projecting blame and start projecting action. You start seeing solutions instead of problems. You start building instead of waiting. This shift is subtle, yet it is seismic. Your energy changes. Your focus sharpens. You understand that life is not a series of random events, but a mirror reflecting the state of your inner self. Every habit you form, every thought you nurture, every decision you take is yours alone. Do not waste them on excuses. Responsibility means choosing deliberately. It means understanding that what you plant today, you will harvest tomorrow. You cannot control the harvest entirely, but you can control what you sow. To complain, to blame, to point fingers is to sow nothing but chaos. To act, to decide, to own is to plant seeds of greatness. And when you take responsibility fully, when you act without delay, the world begins to align in ways you never imagined. Doors that seemed closed begin to open. Opportunities that seemed invisible become visible. People respond to the energy of a person who owns their life. The midnight hours, when silence dominates, are the perfect teacher. It is here that you confront yourself fully. No noise to distract, no crowd to impress, no one to validate. Only you and the truth of your choices. Ask yourself, am I running from responsibility? Am I hiding behind excuses? Am I the author of my story, or am I letting others write it? This self-confrontation is not comfortable, but it is sacred. It is where growth ignites. It is where transformation begins. Every step you take from here, every decision you make is empowered by the recognition that life is yours fully and irrevocably. Understand this? Responsibility is not burden, it is liberation. When you embrace it, you stop being a passenger in your life. You become the driver, steering through uncertainty, through fear, through challenge. You learn to navigate storms, to create opportunities, to rise when you fall. It is the secret that the world rarely teaches, the wisdom that changes lives. Your life changes the moment you stop blaming and start owning. The moment you take full responsibility, you step into your true power, and nothing, no obstacle, no limitation, no circumstance can stand in your way. The choice is always yours. The moment is now. The midnight is yours. Own it. Own yourself. Own your life. Transformation begins here. Discipline is not punishment. It is the force that shapes destiny. It is the silent power that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Every great life, every extraordinary transformation is built on the foundation of consistent action. The truth is simple. Talent without discipline fades, intelligence without consistency stagnates, and desire without action dies. You must understand that change is not an event. It is a process. It is the accumulation of small, deliberate choices made every day, repeated without fail, until they become unstoppable momentum. This is the power of discipline, and it is non-negotiable for anyone who seeks real transformation. Consistency is the engine, discipline is the fuel. One cannot exist without the other. Waking up early, showing up even when you feel tired, acting when motivation is absent, these are not small things. They are the quiet victories that, over time, create seismic shifts in life. Every morning, in the stillness before the world stirs, the choice is yours. To honor your commitment to yourself, or to drift into excuses. The one who chooses action over comfort begins to master their reality. It is in repetition, in the unglamorous, unnoticed moments, that greatness is forged. The world celebrates results, but results are born in silence, in persistence, in unwavering dedication to the path you have chosen. The midnight hours are the mirror of your discipline. When distractions fade and the world sleeps, you confront yourself. Are you holding true to your commitments, or are you bending to the ease of procrastination? Discipline is not about doing what is easy, it is about doing what is necessary. It is about honoring the promise you made to yourself, even when no one else watches, even when the reward is not immediate. Consistency is the language of mastery. Every repeated action is a vote for the life you want to live. Every skipped step is a vote for stagnation. Understand this clearly. Nothing changes without repeated, intentional effort. Discipline also teaches clarity. It forces you to prioritize, to focus on what truly matters. Life is full of distractions, of fleeting pleasures that feel good in the moment but steal your power over time. The person who masters discipline chooses actions that build long-term strength rather than immediate comfort. It is a conscious decision to invest in yourself, to cultivate habits that serve growth, to cut away what drains energy and clouds purpose. Consistency becomes the shield against chaos, the anchor in a world that constantly tries to pull you away from your path. The power of small, repeated actions is profound. 1 hour of focused effort a day may seem insignificant, but multiplied over weeks and months, it becomes unstoppable momentum. The consistent student becomes the expert. The consistent worker becomes the master. The consistent thinker becomes wise. Every moment you commit, every act of discipline, compounds invisibly until your life transforms in ways that once seemed impossible. Motivation is fickle, inspiration fleeting, but discipline and consistency do not rely on feeling. They rely on choice, on commitment, on the unyielding decision to act regardless of circumstance. Self-growth is forged in the furnace of daily action. You cannot grow by chance, by waiting, by hoping. Growth requires a plan, a structure, a relentless adherence to doing what must be done, even when it is hard. Discipline is not restrictive, it is liberating. It frees you from the chaos of indecision, the burden of excuses, the trap of wasted potential. With discipline, you shape your life rather than reacting to it. You take the raw material of your desires, your dreams, and your intentions and mold them into reality. Without it, potential remains dormant and life drifts aimlessly. Even failure becomes a teacher when discipline governs your actions. The person who acts consistently, who honors their commitments, does not fear setbacks. Every misstep is data, every obstacle a lesson. The disciplined mind turns resistance into fuel. Every repeated action strengthens character, fortifies willpower, and builds resilience. Success is not a lucky strike. It is the natural outcome of repeated, intentional, disciplined effort. The power of consistency ensures that even when life pushes back, momentum carries you forward. Commit fully, act relentlessly, transform relentlessly. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of transformation. Without it, life drifts like a ship without a rudder, guided by habit, impulse, and the expectations of others. True growth begins when you look inward, not outward. The world will not teach you who you are. Experiences alone cannot reveal your deepest truths. You must pause, reflect, and observe your mind, your emotions, your reactions. In the silence of the midnight hours, when the noise of life fades, you confront yourself fully. You see patterns you were blind to, habits you denied, fears you hid from. This reflection is not comfortable, but it is necessary. It is the mirror through which self-mastery becomes possible. The first step in self-awareness is honesty. You must see yourself without excuses, without judgment, without the need to protect ego. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you feel, every action you take carries meaning. Do not ignore them. Do not dismiss them as trivial. They are signals guiding you toward understanding yourself. Yet every limitation you believe is a prison you have built with your own hands. To grow, you must confront these lies directly. Feel the fear, name it, understand it, and then act despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is mastery over it. The moment you step forward into what scares you most, you expand the boundaries of your life. Comfort zones are illusions of safety. They promise ease, security, predictability, but they also promise stagnation. Every habit that is easy, every routine that feels safe, every decision that avoids discomfort slowly erodes potential. True life, the life that awakens energy, purpose, and power, exists beyond the familiar. You must train yourself to embrace uncertainty, to challenge routine, to act where hesitation holds others back. The edges of discomfort are where strength is forged, resilience is built, and character is revealed. The midnight hours reveal the truth about comfort and fear. In the silence, when the world rests and distractions fade, you see where you have been avoiding, what you have been tolerating, and what you have been pretending is acceptable. Growth requires honesty in these moments. Ask yourself, where have I limited myself? Where have I allowed fear to dictate my choices? Where have I settled for less than I am capable of? These questions are not pleasant, but they are necessary. The answers will guide action. Action, not wishful thinking, is the currency of transformation. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you strengthen the mind. The first steps may be small, a conversation you have been avoiding, a skill you fear to learn, a confrontation you have postponed, but each step compounds. Fear loses its grip slowly, predictably, inevitably. The person who acts consistently in the face of fear develops a muscle no external circumstance can break. You stop being a victim of circumstances. You begin to create them, to influence them, to rise above them. Growth becomes a habit, fear becomes a tool, and comfort becomes a distant memory. Letting go of fear also means letting go of certainty. The mind craves predictability, but life is not predictable. The person who waits for perfect timing, perfect conditions, perfect alignment will never move. The unknown is inevitable. The future is uncertain. To act despite uncertainty is to seize power. To embrace discomfort willingly is to accelerate transformation. Every risk taken, every fear faced, every limitation challenged is a step toward mastery. Fear is a compass pointing to the areas where growth is waiting. The brave follow it. Resistance is not external, it is internal. You will encounter obstacles, yes, but the greater obstacle is the story you tell yourself about why you cannot move forward. Fear convinces you that struggle is permanent, that pain is intolerable, that change is impossible. The person who grows sees through this deception. Pain is temporary, struggle is informative, challenge is the forge in which greatness is created. The moment you accept that discomfort is the pathway, fear loses power. You act with clarity, with purpose, with focus. Every great life, every profound transformation demands stepping into the unknown. Comfort zones shrink your potential. Fear warns you that growth is near. Listen to neither as a reason to stop. In these quiet hours, commit to one thing. Act. Step forward. Face what you have avoided. Challenge what you have justified. Break the chains of comfort. Every time you do, your life shifts. Every time you choose growth over ease, you unlock new levels of potential. Fear is not to be eliminated. It is to be mastered. Comfort is not to be embraced. It is to be transcended. Transformation is the reward of those who dare. To live fully, you must become intimate with fear. You must become willing to step beyond what is easy, to confront what is unknown, to risk what is safe. Only in these spaces do power, wisdom, and growth emerge. Every hesitation you overcome, every discomfort you embrace, every boundary you break expands your life. Do not wait for courage to come to you. Create it through action. The path is clear. Step into fear, leave comfort behind, and let the unknown guide you to your true self. Growth is relentless, dramatic, and unstoppable for those willing to face it. Growth is born from learning. Life does not wait for you to understand. It tests you relentlessly. And the person who stops learning stops evolving. Knowledge alone is not enough, yet without it, action is blind. Every skill you develop, every insight you gain, every lesson you absorb shapes the trajectory of your life. The person who seeks growth relentlessly becomes unstoppable because they are armed with tools no circumstance can take away. Wisdom is not inherited, it is earned. The pursuit of learning is the pursuit of freedom, power, and mastery over one's own existence. Curiosity is the spark. It is what drives a mind to explore, to question, to seek what is not yet known. Without curiosity, life becomes repetition, stagnation, and decay. Ask the hard questions. Why do I think this way? Why do I act this way? What could I be doing differently to become stronger, wiser, better? These questions are not casual. They are catalysts. They provoke reflection, challenge assumptions, and demand transformation. Every answer is a doorway. Every discovery is a weapon. The mind that refuses to stop learning will always find opportunity, always find advantage, always find growth. Action guided by knowledge transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Random effort is wasted energy. Focused effort, informed by wisdom, magnifies impact. Every decision becomes strategic. Every challenge becomes an opportunity. The person who grows does not act blindly. They act with foresight, insight, and understanding. They read patterns, anticipate outcomes, and leverage knowledge to accelerate progress. Growth without learning is like running without direction. Learning without application is like aiming without shooting. The combination is unstoppable. The pursuit of knowledge is also a pursuit of self-mastery. Every lesson teaches something about your mind, your habits, your limitations, your potential. You learn not only skills, but resilience. You learn not only strategies, but patience. You learn not only facts, but clarity. Growth becomes not only external, but internal. You strengthen the mind, sharpen judgment, and refine character. Knowledge becomes power because it teaches control over self, control over action, control over destiny. Surround yourself with those who are striving, who are learning, who are committed to growth. Avoid the comfort of mediocrity, the allure of negativity, the pull of excuses. Habits are contagious. Energy is magnetic. The environment you choose becomes the invisible architect of your life. Every conversation, every shared experience, every silent observation contributes to the person you are becoming. Positive influence is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Even the silent presence of others carries weight. The attitudes, values, and beliefs of those around you seep into your consciousness. You may not speak, but you absorb. You may not act, but you adapt. This is why the wise guard their circle carefully. A toxic environment erodes potential slowly, imperceptibly, until one day you wake up and wonder why ambition feels distant, why energy feels drained, why clarity is clouded. Influence is constant, invisible, unstoppable. Surround yourself with clarity, strength, courage, and focus, and these qualities begin to inhabit you naturally. Distance is as important as presence. To protect your growth, sometimes you must step away from those who drain, distract, or diminish you. This is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. The person who grows understands that relationships are investments of energy. Some pay dividends, some bankrupt your spirit. The key is discernment. Observe where your energy goes. Where it flows freely, growth accelerates. Where it leaks, stagnation follows. Surrounding yourself with the right influence is a practice as deliberate as any discipline or habit. It is as essential as action, as strategy, as reflection. Positive influence also inspires accountability. When you are surrounded by those who act with integrity, focus, and vision, you are held to a higher standard, often without words. Their energy demands excellence. Their presence challenges complacency. You do not settle because settling is incompatible with the environment you have chosen. The person who grows does not isolate themselves from accountability. They seek it, nurture it, and integrate it. Influence is a mirror. When the reflection shows weakness, they correct. When it shows strength, they emulate. The midnight hours, when the world is still and distractions fade, reveal the true impact of influence. Reflect on who has shaped your decisions, your mindset, your energy. Who inspires courage, creativity, and growth? Who drains it? Awareness of influence is not passive, it is actionable. Change your associations deliberately. Step into spaces where growth is natural. Surround yourself with those whose presence amplifies your power. Your environment is the scaffolding on which your life is built. Choose it wisely. Even one person can transform a life if the connection is aligned with growth. Mentors, guides, peers, or companions whose presence awakens purpose, focus, and action are treasures. The energy they provide is not temporary. It compounds. Every conversation, every insight, every challenge becomes a stepping stone. The person who grows seeks not numbers or popularity, but alignment, resonance, and clarity. Influence is not social. It is strategic. It is the invisible current shaping decisions, habits, and ultimately destiny. In life, you cannot rise higher than the people you allow close to your mind and heart. They set the standard consciously or unconsciously. Every thought, every action, every ambition is affected by the company you keep. To rise, you must elevate your circle. To grow, you must curate your environment. Influence is power, and power is choice. Choose those who awaken your potential, who challenge your limits, who inspire courage and action. Protect your mind, protect your energy, surround yourself with greatness, and greatness will inhabit you. The path of self-growth is solitary in its discipline but communal in its influence. The energy of those around you becomes fuel for your transformation or chains that hold you back. Positive influence is a force as potent as discipline, reflection, or courage. It shapes character, habits, and outcomes. The person who masters their circle masters themselves. They act deliberately, move strategically, and grow relentlessly. The choice is clear. Surround yourself with those who build, elevate, and awaken, or remain small in the company of mediocrity. Influence is invisible, unstoppable, and inevitable. Choose it wisely, and your life will follow. The secret of transformation is simple, yet profound. Act daily, act deliberately, act with purpose, even when you feel nothing, even when the world offers no applause. Discipline is the unseen force behind every achievement. Consistency is the silent architect of change. Together, they create a rhythm that life cannot ignore. The person who masters these two forces does not wait for opportunity, they create it. They do not hope for success, they engineer it. They do not dream of growth, they manifest it. In the quiet hours of the night and the early dawn, reflect on your choices. Are they consistent with the life you desire? Are your actions aligned with the vision of yourself you wish to become? The moment you commit to discipline, the moment you embrace consistency as a non-negotiable part of your life, you step into power. You move beyond excuses, beyond delays, beyond the whims of fleeting motivation. You become unstoppable. You become the master of your destiny. Every day, every hour, every action matters. Do not waste them. Anger, fear, doubt, hesitation, they are not weaknesses, they are teachers. Observe them, question them, understand why they exist. Each moment of reflection strengthens your ability to act consciously rather than react blindly. Awareness also requires presence. Life often pulls us forward with endless distractions, chasing goals, chasing validation, chasing fleeting pleasure. In this chase, we lose ourselves. The power lies in noticing, to notice how you feel when criticized, how you respond when challenged, how you react when things do not go your way. Awareness is not passive, it is active engagement with your inner world. The moment you pay attention, you gain power. The moment you understand your patterns, you can change them. Reflection must be regular. The midnight hours are a teacher, a sacred time for examining the mind. Ask yourself difficult questions. Why do I act this way? What am I avoiding? What beliefs are limiting me? Do not shy away from the answers. They may be uncomfortable. They may challenge the story you tell yourself. But every truth you uncover is a step toward freedom. Self-awareness illuminates the path to change. It reveals where you have been stuck, where fear has controlled decisions, where habit has replaced intention. Only when you see clearly can you act effectively. Growth is impossible without understanding the self. Many chase success, wealth, or recognition without ever understanding why they want it. They confuse desire with fulfillment. Self-awareness allows you to distinguish what truly serves your life from what distracts or diminishes it. You begin to recognize thoughts that empower and thoughts that limit. You see the difference between constructive habits and destructive patterns. You start making choices aligned with your highest potential rather than reacting to circumstances. The more aware you are, the more control you have over your life. Emotions are the gateway to deeper self-knowledge. Fear is not the enemy, it is information. Anxiety is not weakness, it is a signal. Anger is not failure, it is energy waiting to be directed. Awareness teaches you to observe without being consumed, to feel fully but not be enslaved, to understand the source of your feelings, and through that understanding, to respond with clarity instead of impulsivity. This is the power of conscious living. Every emotion becomes a lesson, every reaction an opportunity for growth. Self-awareness also transforms relationships. When you understand yourself, you see the world more clearly. You stop projecting blame, expectation, or fear onto others. You begin to interact from a place of presence rather than habit. You communicate with clarity, act with intention, and connect without dependency. Others respond to your groundedness, your inner clarity, your mastery over your own mind. Awareness spreads beyond yourself. It shapes the way you move through life and influence the world around you. The process of reflection is not a one-time act. It is lifelong practice. There will always be layers to uncover, beliefs to question, habits to refine. Each period of stillness, each moment of honesty, each conscious observation adds depth to your understanding. With time, this self-awareness becomes intuitive. It becomes a lens through which every decision is filtered. You stop living reactively. You stop being driven by unconscious impulses. You step into a life of intentional action, guided by clarity, courage, and insight. Every step toward self-awareness is a step toward freedom. You begin to see that nothing outside controls you. The world will always be chaotic, unpredictable, and demanding, but your inner clarity is untouchable. The more aware you become, the less power external circumstances hold over your state of mind. You start to choose your reactions instead of being chosen by them. You become the observer and the actor simultaneously, mastering both inner and outer life. The path is simple, yet profound. Observe yourself, reflect deeply, embrace your truths, confront discomfort, and act consciously. Awareness is the gateway to growth, responsibility, and transformation. Every midnight hour, every quiet moment, every pause is an opportunity to learn, to see, and to change. When you commit to understanding yourself fully, the rest of life begins to align. You act with intention, live with purpose, and transform with clarity. Self-awareness is the key. It is the first step toward mastery. It is the foundation upon which a life of fulfillment, power, and growth is built. Growth does not happen in comfort. The mind, the spirit, the body, all of them are designed to expand when challenged, when pushed beyond limits, when forced to confront the unknown. Fear is not the enemy. It is the signal that you are on the edge of transformation. Every time you resist it, every time you retreat into safety, you remain small. The world will always reward courage, not comfort. The person who grows, who transforms, is the one willing to step into uncertainty, willing to face the shadows within, willing to embrace discomfort as a teacher rather than a threat. The first step to breaking free from fear is seeing it clearly. Most of life's suffering comes not from what happens outside, but from the stories we tell ourselves about what might happen. Fear whispers lies. You are not ready, you will fail, the risk is too great. Instead, use both as a signal to move forward. Face what you avoid, speak what you suppress, act where hesitation rules. Growth is not gentle, it is relentless, it is dramatic, it is uncomfortable, and yet it is also liberating. With every confrontation with fear, with every stretch beyond comfort, you become more capable, more alive, more powerful. The mind will resist, the body will resist, society will resist. The world prefers conformity, predictability, safety, but you are not here to be average. You are not here to drift. The choice is simple. Embrace fear and discomfort as tools of your awakening, or remain small, waiting for permission from the world to expand. Every act of courage compounds. Every moment of action in spite of fear becomes a stepping stone toward transformation. The person who masters fear and discomfort does not need luck, conditions, or guarantees. They carry power within. The midnight hours are sacred. They are the testing ground for courage. They are the mirror reflecting where fear has ruled and where growth is waiting. Knowledge without application is empty. To read, to listen, to observe, but not to act, is to accumulate shadows. Learning must ignite action. Every lesson that is not used is wasted potential. The person who grows understands that each insight is a step toward mastery, a key to unlocking doors that once seemed closed. Growth is not passive. It is deliberate, relentless, and intentional. Every skill mastered, every thought refined, every idea tested in the real world compounds into power that cannot be ignored. Self-development is not accidental. The world will not hand you wisdom or strength. You must claim it. Every day, every hour, every moment offers a choice to consume knowledge and apply it, or to remain stagnant. The disciplined mind seeks mentors, seeks examples, seeks teachings, and then integrates them into action. The person who grows reads not to impress others, but to transform themselves. They observe not to judge, but to understand. They act not to react, but to create. Growth is forged in the active engagement of learning and applying over and over again. The midnight hours are a laboratory. In the stillness, when the noise of the world fades, reflection illuminates truths unseen during daylight. Review your actions, your decisions, your mistakes. Study what went wrong. Study what succeeded. Knowledge gained without reflection is wasted. True growth comes from the combination of learning, observing, and then correcting course. Every failure becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes information. Every insight becomes a stepping stone. In these quiet hours, mastery is crafted, slowly but relentlessly. Learning also demands humility. The person who believes they already know is already defeated. Every great mind, every powerful life is built on the recognition that there is always more to learn. pride is the enemy of growth. Curiosity, openness, and humility are the allies. The more you acknowledge what you do not know, the faster you expand what you do. The world is infinite, knowledge is infinite, and the mind that refuses to stop exploring will always rise above the one that believes it has arrived. The world changes relentlessly. Opportunity favors the prepared, the aware, the knowledgeable. To remain stagnant is to be left behind. Growth requires a commitment to lifelong learning. There is no finish line. There is only the constant pursuit of understanding, the constant sharpening of mind, the constant integration of lessons into life. Every day wasted without learning is potential squandered. Every lesson ignored is a door left unopened. Those who commit to growth seize life. Those who resist it drift, unfulfilled and powerless. The midnight hours whisper the truth. Growth is choice. Knowledge is power. Action is essential. Learn relentlessly. Apply fearlessly. Reflect honestly. Each step builds momentum. Each lesson compounds. Each effort amplifies. The person who embraces this path becomes unstoppable, unshakable, and free. Life is not a series of random events. It is a classroom, a battlefield, a laboratory for self-transformation. The person who refuses to stop learning shapes reality, masters circumstances, and rises beyond the ordinary. Knowledge, reflection, and application are the trinity of growth. Follow them without hesitation, without excuse, and life will bend to your will. The people around you shape the life you live more than you realize. Your thoughts, your habits, your energy, they are mirrors of the company you keep. Influence is subtle, constant, and powerful. Those who grow understand this deeply. They do not waste time with negativity, doubt, or weakness disguised as companionship. They seek the presence of those who elevate, inspire, and challenge them. The moment you change your environment, the moment you choose your associations wisely, your life begins to transform. Influence is not passive, it is active. Every person you allow close to your mind either builds or erodes your potential. Surrounding yourself with positive influence is not about social convenience or popularity. It is a conscious choice. The world is filled with voices of doubt, distraction, and cynicism. Every unguarded conversation, every mindless habit absorbed from others carries energy into your life that either propels you or pulls you down. The person who grows pays attention. They notice how they feel after interactions. Are they energized, inspired, challenged, or diminished, drained, and uncertain? Influence is contagious. Choose carefully. Protect your mind, your vision, your energy, because the people around you determine the level at which you operate. Mentorship is a key element of positive influence. To stand on the shoulders of someone who has walked a path before you is to shortcut years of trial, error, and suffering. The wise do not see mentorship as dependence, they see it as acceleration. Every lesson learned from someone more experienced is a seed planted in fertile soil. Every story of struggle and triumph becomes a roadmap. Seek those who have achieved what you aspire to, those whose presence expands your thinking, whose energy is focused, disciplined, and relentless. Influence is not about imitation, it is about absorption and integration. Peers matter just as much as mentors. The people you spend time with shape your habits, your mindset, your ambition.